Hi everybody, welcome to today's webinar on transferring to Brock University. We're going to give transfer students some good tips on how to be successful in their transition to Brock. My name is Dana Monterosso. I'm a recruitment officer at Brock, and this is my colleague here.
And I'm Monique, and I work in the admissions office.
So just some general tidbits first about the webinar. So you'll be able to instantly rewatch today's webinar at this link on YouTube, and you can rewatch it over and over again if you want to. The presentation will be available for download tomorrow at our Discover Brock site. That's discover.brocku.ca/webinar.
And if you have questions, you could ask them through this YouTube link, or you could direct them to our social media channels.
Okay, so we'll start off with general requirements that transfer students need to know for transferring. So basically, requirements will differ depending on the institution and the program that you're transferring from. And requirements also vary depending on the type of completed degree or diploma and the courses that you've taken at your previous institution. If English is not your first language, you'll also have to meet English language requirements as well. So getting a bit more in-depth here for our college transfer students. So these are our general academic requirements. So you'll see here on the chart, there's 4 options. For our college transfer students coming over with a 1-year certificate, your minimum admission average should be around a B, which is 75% or higher. And transfer credits typically are not awarded for this entry-level credential. However, if you're a college transfer student with a 2- or 3-year diploma, you will be awarded transfer credit as long as you meet that minimum admission average of B- or higher, which is equivalent to a 70% or more. 2-year diploma students typically receive between 3 to 5 transfer credits. A full academic year at Brock is worth 5 credits as well. The 3-year diploma college transfer students receive between 5 to 7.5 transfer credits. And if you have a completed advanced diploma or degree, your minimum admission average is B-, as well as the other programs, and then your transfer credits will be determined on a case-by-case basis by our admissions officers.
And also, if you've completed a graduate certificate program at a college after the completion of your 2- or 3-year diploma, you may be eligible for transfer credits determined at the point of admission.
All right, so moving on now to university transfer students. Here's some general tips and information. So admission consideration is dependent on your overall record, but we will assess your highest level and most recent level of education completed. So that means we're going to assess you based on your university transcripts. So applicants who have completed minimum 1 full-time semester at a university are eligible for consideration if they have an average of 60% or higher. So that's a C- or higher. And our university transfer students also need to be eligible to re-register at their previous institution. So that means they can't be on academic probation if they want to transfer successfully to Brock. So keep in mind, and this applies for college students as well as university transfer students, that some programs require higher admission averages. So for a program like nursing, for example, that program has a higher entrance average that the college or university transfer students would have to meet beyond that basic minimum requirement. So the other requirement that we need is obviously the course prerequisites, and we will accept course prerequisites at the Ontario secondary school level or the completed equivalent course from your college or university program.
Or a combination of the two.
That's right. So getting into pathways and agreements. So Brock University has collaborated with multiple institutions to form pathways or articulation agreements. If you're a student in one of these pathways, you can look for more information by visiting this link. It will be posted at the end of the webinar. And these pathways essentially give you a nice segue into university where you'll be awarded a predetermined number of transfer credits if you meet the general admission requirements for that pathway.
So if you're tuning in today, obviously you're probably interested in applying. So how to apply? So typically if you're interested in applying to multiple Ontario universities, we'd recommend you apply using the Ontario University Application Centre website, or OUAC for short. If you're a domestic student, we're looking for you to complete the 105 application, and if you're a foreign student, we're looking for you to complete the 105F application. We recommend that students apply by June 1st for September admission, though programs that are still accepting applications beyond that date, because they're still open, you could still apply after that date. So in terms of next steps, once you've successfully applied, you'll receive an email from the admissions office thanking you for your application and providing you with information on how to activate and log into your my.brocky.ca student portal. So to activate your portal, you would click on the applicant new returning student or alumni link, and it would prompt you to provide the campus ID or Brock student number that was provided to you in the thank you for applying email that the admissions office sent, and then fill in your birth date as your password. Then you'll be prompted to create a new password that's a little bit more secure. So once you've applied and activated your portal, your next steps would be to log into your portal and check your application status and see if you have any outstanding documents that are required to be submitted. Documents that you can upload via PDF format would be an unofficial transcript, a resume, or even an English proficiency test result. If you can't upload it, that means we're looking for the official transcript sent directly from your issuing institution. If you are not considering applying to multiple Ontario universities, the best application to complete and cheapest would be our on-the-spot admissions application. So every Tuesday or Thursday between 1 and 4 p.m., Brock's admissions office is on hand to help students complete an on-the-spot admissions application. So you'd bring secondary and all post-secondary transcripts, photo ID, and your application fee, and you'll know right then and there if you're admissible, that you will be accepted, and preliminary transfer credit information. So once you've applied and been admitted, if you're eligible to receive transfer credits, you could actually view what transfer credits you got via your my.brocky.ca student portal by clicking on the transfer credit button. If you've applied through the OUAC application, you can accept your offer of admission there prior to the deadline outlined on your offer of admission package. If you haven't applied through OUAC, you can accept your offer via your my.brocky.ca student portal through the application status area. If you already have an offer of admission right now, be sure to accept your offer prior to May 1st. Once you've accepted your offer, be sure to connect with your academic advisor. Your academic advisor will outline how your transfer credits fit into your program so you have a better idea of degree completion timelines. Your academic advisor will also provide you details with regards to next step information and how to access student services on campus. If you're like me, and many of us, you like free money. So if you've completed a 2 or 3 year diploma with a minimum cumulative average of an 85% and have been awarded less than 5 transfer credits, you may be eligible, or you are eligible actually, for an entrance scholarship. What's really good about Brock's transfer entrance scholarships is that they're renewable, which means as long as you maintain a minimum 80% in your first year, you can renew your scholarship amount in subsequent years.
Okay, so now that you've accepted your Brock offer, you're ready to make the transition, you're going to start planning your living accommodations. So in terms of off-campus living, the good news is that Niagara is generally a very safe and affordable place to live, specifically St. Catharines and Thorold. So you can search for these living options, whether it's a house or an apartment, with our off-campus living website, and that's accessible through Brock ocl.ca. There's lots of options on there. If you are living off campus, you can still stay connected to Brock and Niagara, however, by joining our Brock Society of Off-Campus Students, otherwise known as Brock Socs. So this is how you make the most of your Brock experience. You'll meet new people, make new friends. You'll be supported by people who share the similar interests as you, and you'll really become a part of Brock as well as Niagara, even though you're living off campus. So student supports. Once you're on campus, we want you to be successful. This starts right away with our Smart Start academic orientation session. Smart Start is a one-day academic orientation where you'll get to hear presentations on how to be successful. You'll hear from professors. We will help you plan your course schedule as well. And we do offer a special session on July 11th, 2019 for transfer students. And the session will be very specific to transfer student needs and resources. So I highly recommend that after this webinar, you go, once Smart Start registration opens up, you go and register for Smart Start on July 11th. Once you're actually a Brock student and you're on campus, check out A to Z Learning Services. It's a great academic resource, and they do run something called Transfer Success Program. This is a free tutoring service for transfer students, and you can connect with them by emailing learning@brocku.ca to get more details about free tutoring for transfer students. A to Z Learning Services also runs a Transfer Connect social group, and that's an awesome way to meet transfer students who are just like you, and you'll have fun social activities, weekly events, and you'll get to meet people who you might otherwise not run into while you're studying at Brock. So at this time, we're going to take a short break, and we'll open up the webinar to some questions from our audience. We'll see you back here shortly. Okay, so we're back with some questions right now. So just to recap, my name is Dana, and this is
Monique.
So Monique will lead us off with our first question from the audience.
Okay, so our first question is, what do I put on my application if I'm interested in pursuing a double major or a minor? Which is a great question. So if you are interested in pursuing a combined major or pursuing a minor, the recommendation would be to secure what your major is, your initial major is first on your application. Once you've been evaluated for admission and offered admission, you will determine your subsequent major or your minor thereafter.
Okay, so our next question here, this is a very common one. So what are the exact transfer credits I'll receive, and can I find out what they are before I apply? So the process for receiving transfer credits at Brock is pretty seamless, and it's part of the admissions process. So what you do is you'll actually submit a formal application first, and then once you do that and you send us your transcripts, admissions will assess your transcripts for transfer credit, and then if you're admissible, they'll give you an offer to Brock as well as your transfer credit assessment at the exact same time. This will allow you to make an informed decision about attending Brock, because you basically have your transfer credits and your offer, and then you can decide what you would like to do.
Right, so that it isn't an additional transfer credit request fee. It's just built into your application fee, which is awesome. The next question that we have is, does Brock offer spring and summer courses? Yes, we definitely do. A lot of students opt to take spring and summer courses to expedite the completion of their degree, which is awesome. Other students like to take spring and summer courses if they've attended school elsewhere and they are coming home for the summer, and it's a great way to, again, finish their degree a little quicker.
Okay, so I believe this is our last question here. Yes? Maybe not. Okay. Can I complete my degree online? Good question. Yes, for the majority of courses or programs, rather, there are options to complete some courses online at a distance, and then there's also some face-to-face components as well. For a program that is totally online, that would be through one of our adult education programs.
So we're going to take a break. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to submit them through the chat or through our social media channels, and then we'll tune in shortly.
Okay, so we're back with a couple of questions here. So I'll answer the first one and Monique will answer the second one. First question, I'll read it out loud. So for transfer students, how do we begin building our class schedule for the fall term? And also, where do we find the required courses for our degree? So this is a great question. What I would advise is to visit our discover.brocku.ca/registration website, and it will take you through step-by-step on how to register for courses. What I generally advise is that number one, you'll want to visit the undergraduate course calendar and see what your program plan actually looks like. And then you'll also want to take a look at your transfer credits, if you have them, and then figure out how to put together your course schedule. A great resource for you at Brock to be able to do this is your academic advisors. And we do have the academic advisor directory on that link, which is discover.brocku.ca/registration.
Great question. The second question is more information on college diploma students looking to apply through OUAC. So basically, if you are a current graduate or current student of an Ontario college, you could apply through the OUAC by completing a 105 application. You could actually request your Ontario-based transcripts through the application. So the OUAC would collect them on your behalf and then forward them to Brock for assessment purposes. Again, transfer credit would be an automatic process that you wouldn't have to subsequently pay for or request through your application. But if you have specific questions pertaining to your OUAC application, please feel free to email them to us at futurestudent@brocku.ca.
Okay, and we did have one more question come in here. So the question is, can I also take a minor if I'm taking child and youth studies? The answer is yes, there is space in the program to take a minor. What you'll want to do is meet with the academic advisor again for your program if you would like to add a minor, and they will best guide you because you'll probably have to fill out some sort of form, and then they'll instruct you on how to actually begin taking your minor. Okay, so I believe that is it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in to this webinar. It is going to be rewatchable at this link on YouTube, and we'll also make sure we download the presentation on our discover.brocku.ca/webinar link tomorrow.
And concluding this presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to direct them to futurestudent@brocku.ca.
Bye.